just stand there, and then you can just talk into the helmet later. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, right on. So before we get to audience questions, Jeremy, very important question. So we lost Beasley, but we gained Winn. Which do you feel like that's a good exchange? It's a cowboy question, sorry.
We lost Beasley. You're talking about Cole Beasley from the Dallas Cowboys.
I had no idea what any of
It
this
took me a
was.
second. Well, I'm reading the Harry Potter books right now, so I heard Weasley. And I was like, that's not what he's saying.
But we gained Winn, so is that a good exchange for you?
That is yet to be seen because Cole Beasley's my boy making sauce. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah. He makes sauce anytime he gets a touchdown.
Yeah, he makes sauce. That's his dance.
It's a thing.
Is he a wide receiver?
Yes, he's a wide receiver.
Okay, well, I'll yell at you.
He's a slot guy.
Slot receiver.
He's small. He makes it.
I look like I play football, but I don't watch it. I don't like it.
See, he plays football, but he kind of looks like me.
Yeah, he's a little guy.
No wonder you like him.
Well, you know, it gives me hope for those short guys.
Totally good.
I love when a short guy that succeeds in football. Anyways, we're getting off course. I think we should do.
We have a course.
Hey, we have questions out here, so why don't you go ahead? Yeah, speak up.
I love you guys. I think you guys are great together.
We love you too.
And tell me where you are. You guys both get pranks on each other?
All the time.
Can you tell us any of them?
Yes. I'll tell a story that Jeremy hates.
I don't know what this story is. This is not a prank story though. If it's the story I think about.
I mean, it's not a prank story, but it's funny. It's really, really funny. So there was one day. I think we were working on the weekend, right? Saturday. It was crazy. Like, TV shows are crazy. Sometimes you have 16-hour days. Sometimes you're working 6 days a week. Sometimes you're working 7. Depends on what it is. So we had a Saturday afternoon shoot, and we were there with Laura Vandervoort, who played Indigo on our season 1. And she looks incredible. Like, she's covered in blue and like has these lights that are coming out of her skin and all this kind of stuff's happening. It's really kind of interesting. And so we're both kind of just like watching her like, wow, this is great, this is amazing. Like 5 hours of makeup, wow. And she's supposed to appear out of nowhere, right? And it was right after lunch, and so, yeah. And so she appears out of nowhere, and like, I don't know if you guys remember the first season, but it was way more Scooby-Doo. Yeah, you were like, "Arr!" You're surprised by everything. We're like, we somehow bumbled into like solving the mystery every time. Like, those darn kids. Like that's how it felt. And so that's how I felt shooting it too sometimes. But she's supposed to come out of nowhere, out of the ether.
At a computer screen.
I don't remember. And then he and I are supposed to be very afraid. So I jump back, I'm like, ah! Jeremy jumps back and goes, ah!
Oh yeah.
And this face was... He was hoping nobody heard it. But the thing about film sets it's completely silent. You can hear a pin drop. So even a little like muggle fart sounds like somebody had a police siren hooked up to it. So like the whole crew was like, and then and it's all Lauren's coverage, like the camera's facing her, right? And so she's like this.
She was so mad.
She was so mad.
She had such a good take, and we just started laughing, and she's like, all right.
We're dying. We're off camera, like sweating, crying, and she's like good through her lines. And so if you ever watch that episode, just know that he was funkifying the air 2 feet this way, and Lauren is a consummate professional.
It's more of an audible moment, and less of a audible.
It was bad.
What is the olfactory? Thank you.
So moral of the story is that we are extremely unprofessional.
Yes, basically.
She was very professional at that
Yeah.
moment. It's not a prank, but it's funny.
Right on, yeah. How about this dude over here? Yeah, go for it. Speak up.
Hey, man.
This one's for Bernie. If you could come back on the show as anyone else, who would it be?
As anyone else?
He'd come back as me. I mean, come on.
Nah, I look ridiculous in that costume. Just be like, ew. Somebody else, who would I come back as? I would come back as...
You have a villain or a superhero
Yeah,
power?
maybe I would come back as my father.
Ooh, there you go.
And, you know, see what it was like to be on the dark side. Because I would kind of, when I joined the show, I thought maybe that would have how it was going to turn out. And so I was kind of looking forward to that for a little bit, and then it never happened. So.
Have you had a chance to play like a pure villainous role, whether on stage or on screen?
No,
Okay.
not villainous. I mean, I've played like a person that killed other people, but
That would qualify as villainous.
but no, I don't think so. I think it was more of
It
a like
depends on why you killed them, right?
yeah, it was more of a like kill or be killed sort of
right.
sort of a situation, not like you betrayed me and now you will die. Like no, not so much.
You didn't bring me back my chickens
that's
from
that's-
Baskin Robbins.
Exactly. That's an energy that I definitely haven't sort of been able to wrap
How
sink my
about
teeth
yourself?
into.
Have you had a chance to? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a movie coming out called Grace. It's a thriller. It comes out next year where I play a sociopathic con artist.
Named Grace.
No, he's not named Grace. That would be good though. But playing a villain is a lot of fun. And I think the coolest thing about playing a villain is you don't think you're wrong, right? Like the key to playing a good villain is having fun in your dysfunction, like making sense out of it, not judging that person and saying, okay, well, this is where I'm at, and how did I get here? And that's kind of a fun thing to do.
All right, let's go on this side. And so, how about start with the green jacket? Yeah.
Mehcad, my question for you is, this is the one that's important for me. What was it like when they told you that you were going to be taking on the mantle of the Guardian? Since that normally was a set before, but I've never associated Jimmy Olsen with the Guardian to begin with.
Right.
Especially when we looked at, like,
The comics you did.
Right. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen was like Turtle Boy, like Elastic Lad.
Turtle Boy.
Yeah. Like, I was like, please don't give me those. Please don't make me look like a turtle with Inspector Gadget next. Like, it's crazy. The reaction I had, so Andrew Kreisberg was talking to me about their choice to make Jimmy into the Guardian. Like, he's like, I have a secret to tell you. I said, oh, cool. So I'm in the break room, and I'm getting coffee, and he's like, so we're gonna make you Guardian. I go, of who? I was like, oh, you gonna give me a kid in the show? That's cool. Like, am I adopting? Like, who am I adopting? And they're like, no, Guardian. He's like, you've never heard of the Guardian? I was like, no. So he starts swiping, and he shows me a picture, and I go, ah! Literally was my reaction. Verbatim. That was my reaction. Because I was once again, I was the kid who was jumping off of couches with the towel safety pin to his neck, like trying to do wrestling moves as a superhero, like a weirdo. But I've been trying to do that my whole life. And so when somebody's like, hey man, you get to go look pretty badass and wear this cool costume and fake hit people and not get hit back, that's cool. Oh, that sounds great. I get to punch you in the face for work and not get punched back? Awesome. He gets to get punched, that's great.
And then he came to me and he said, you get to sew it. You get to sew your costume.
I was like, everybody's dreams are coming true. You're now a seamstress.
That's so cool. Thanks. I can't wait.
That's so good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we'll do it.
Right.
The mental health meeting.
Right.
So my question is for both of you, how does it feel portraying men in particular dealing with trauma and the emotional, and where would you like to see them go?
That's a fantastic question. I can't speak. I've never been a woman, so I can't talk about that part. But like as a man, I think that we do. I think men learn the wrong things from their kids. I think that we learn that it's strong to keep it inside. I think we learn that it's it's something that our strength comes within our structure of not showing our feelings and our emotions. That our strength comes within bottling it up or swallowing it or not bothering other people with it. And I can handle this. I'm a man. I can handle this. It's wrong. That's just unresolved trauma, and that's just waiting to bubble up or explode or burst. And we have to start looking at that differently, right? Like, I'm a sensitive person. I'm 255 pounds. I'm 6'4", but I will cry before you, like, if it bothers me. And I do that because I don't really care what you think. I care how I feel. I care to make sure that gets out, and that I'm not building on this reservoir of trauma that I've had my whole life. And so basically, if you wrong me, because I know you would, I can see it in your eyes. When you wrong me, I'm only dealing with what just happened now, and not what happened when I was 12, right? And I think that we have to really, take ownership of that.
Fantastic.
I mean, I'm sensitive too. But I'm probably gonna keep it inside. So.
He'll blog about it later.
In terms of like the character, what I do sort of like about the show is that, for the most part, all of the male characters are very open emotionally in the show, and if they're not initially, then they sort of come to that throughout, through whatever traumas or whatever happened, experiences, and tend to not keep it bottled in, and tend to express it to each other or to other people, or in relatively healthy ways, at least the main characters. So that's always been kind of a good thing about the show is I think that the characters, for the most part, tend to deal with emotions in a sort of a model way for maybe young people that are watching the show, being like, oh, they can handle that, or they figured out how to get through that, maybe I could too, sort of thing. It's not the kind of show where everything's bottled up. It's not like your sort of Arrow, where it's all just like angsty. There's nothing wrong with that kind of show, but it's just that's not the show.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of being a kind of female-centric led show, Melissa, she's such an awesome Supergirl. She doesn't seem like she's a terror on set. She seems like she's such a sweet, a sweet kind of leader of the show. Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Like, what would fans not know about working with her? That maybe a story or two that you guys could share.
Melissa has this thing where if you're late, she cuts you. She has an X-Acto knife, and if you...
I knew it.
If you're,
I knew it.
2 minutes late? It's 2 cuts. Right?
I'm not participating in this.
That sounds like her.
She carries 6 ounces of lemon juice, pours them into cuts. Oh my God. It's very specific and weird. I don't know why she does that when I think about it. No, she's amazing. She's like our sister.
Oh yeah.
She's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life, not just in Hollywood, but just period.
Yeah, and she doesn't really complain about it. And she shows up, and she's always kind, and she can't do an act out to save her life, but otherwise she's pretty great.
Act out means that when you go to commercial, the scene, right, the moment before you go to commercial.
Oh yeah, like when you go to commercial, it's like showing your face right before the commercial. She can't do it. She literally will start laughing no matter what. It's a funny scene, it's a terrifying, like no matter what, because she knows that it's the last thing you're gonna see before they try to sell you pieces. She can't handle it.
I actually have an act out challenge video with me and her on Instagram, and it's really funny actually because she can't do it. And she's the first person to admit like, I can do so many things, but not that. And it's really funny because some actors have like different methods. Like there's an actor, and I won't say his name, but
go ahead.
No, I won't say his name. No, I won't say his name. But you guys all know who this is. He's not on Supergirl, but he's got this method where he's like, okay, if I'm doing an act out, he's like, I'm just basically gonna act like I'm smelling my own fart and try to figure out what's in there.
That's
so he's like
Joey Tribbiani.
Joey, yes, Joey.
Is that really?
Yeah,
it's from Friends.
And Friends.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion does that. And I don't care.
He learned from Friends.
That's crazy. I thought
He's
he
just
made that up.
reusing Joey Tribbiani.
I thought he made that up.
Yeah.
I had an acting coach who one time told me, he goes, if you can't do those, he goes, they're kind of hard, they are, there's a lot of pressure. He's like, think about what you have to do that day other than work. I was like, laundry. Am I hungry? Where did I put those socks? Where do socks go after the dryer? Is there a Shaka Khan who takes my socks?
Well,
She's great. She sings and dances and acts like a fool, and we all love it.
well, we would have thought that kryptonite would have been her weakness, but apparently it's the act out. So let's get another question. How about way off to the side? Yeah, speak up loudly.
First of all, I love you both. You're amazing, and I love the show.
We love you too.
And my question is there one line or moment in the show either that you just really enjoyed? It doesn't have to be your character, or a moment that really defined your character?
The line that I really enjoyed was one of Jeremy's.
He's not gonna drop it. He's just not gonna drop
I mean,
it.
it's an ad-lib, and it wasn't written. But the writers will still get credit for it. So I thought that was brilliant. It was just a brilliant button on the scene. It was great.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy they cut that. For me, you know, as the show progressed, not so much in season 1 because we were kind of like tied to like the CBS and the script was like you have to say these words exactly as they're written. But as we kind of got farther into the series, they gave us a little bit more leeway, and so you know I'd get a script and there'd always be like 1 or 2 jokes, at least per scene for me, because that's my whole purpose as Winn, is to tell the jokes. And
You're good at the jokes.
well, yeah, but I often would adjust the jokes.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
You know, I'd try different jokes, different takes, or see if I can make it funnier, or try to make people laugh during the takes. And so my favorite parts were always when they, on a rare occasion, kept one of my original jokes, you know, on the show. Because a lot of times they just get cut. They write it and then like I'll watch the show and like if I had 15 jokes an episode, like 3 would make it. So it was hard to watch that, but every once in a while you get a keeper that was you know a JJ original.
And I gotta say, sometimes it was really hard acting opposite Jeremy because he is so funny. And they would give him pretty good jokes, but he would always make them different and better and weirder. And
Let me tell you my favorite moment with you in season 3. It was you and David, and I was sitting at the computer.
yes.
I was sitting at the computer, like, beneath you, and you were, like, having a conversation above me. And it was like a racially charged conversation. And at the end, you resolved it by shaking hands and, like, staring at each other. And so they're shaking hands, staring at each other, like, waiting for the camera, and I just went like this. Both of them, and they were like, get the hell out of here.
Tears on the edge of my eyelids.
Oh,
David's
so
looking
good.
intensely. And we're like,
And I was like,
Jeremy goes,
that didn't make it. They didn't make it to the episode, unfortunately.
he knew he was leading at that point. He didn't care.
No, I just did everything I could to try to make everybody laugh.
And you did. And we miss you for it, man.
Racial reconciliation, man. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Let's get a question here. Go ahead. Yes, speak up.
Hey guys, my name is Alexa. Huge fan of the show.
Alexa, play question.
My question to you guys is, what is the one thing you found most challenging about working on Supergirl? How did you overcome it?
It's like feeling there need to be one more thing. Yeah, what was I mean, for me, it was like I was saying. For me, it was like the location, proximity from my friends and family. We were in Vancouver, which is a beautiful city when it's not raining, which is pretty much every day we shot there. At least when I was there for 2 years, it rained every damn day.
It rains
But-
367 days a year.
Yeah, so, you know, I had a tough time with that sort of stuff. But for the most part, you know, actually shooting we had each other. So, like, if there were ever issues with the script or issues with our characters or issues with other people on set, we always had each other to kind of fall back on. So it never felt like hopeless or anything like that. It wasn't that kind of a energy, at least not for me.
Yeah, I think it's difficult taking on a character that people already have an idea about. And Jimmy Olsen was created in 1940 by Jack Kirby, who a lot of people in those days lived monochromatic existences. They only saw one type of person, in their daily lives, right? So the difficult thing I think was that, since we're making a show for the 21st century, if we had created some of these characters in 1990 or 2015, Jimmy Olsen might be an Asian guy.
Yeah.
Could be. Supergirl might be like Latinx. We don't know. But the genesis of these characters was a time when people didn't really, they didn't intermix. And so I don't think that people really saw. You can't blame the last generation. You can't blame Jack Kirby. But that was their reality.
They wrote what they knew.
They wrote what they knew. And our reality is different. And I think the most difficult part about that was just sort of seeing that a lot of people were still stuck in the 1940 version of it, still stuck in that reality. And once again, there's been a lot of support, but that was, if you're asking me what's the most difficult thing, it's that.
Yeah, there's a lot of love in the fan community. A lot of love, and those are the kind of people you get these sorts of things.
Right,
at the same
90% love.
But then sometimes some of the loudest voices are very, very hateful and disrespectful. And coming into this, I had a little bit of fame and a little bit of sort of exposure to that, but not a lot. And then you really start to see when you do something bigger like this, and you learn. I'm sure, and you probably learned before I did, but especially with social media, you learn very quickly that you have to learn how to drown out all the negative sort of things, whether it's racial or, just about how you look like or the way that you said or dealt with certain characters or something that you did not even on purpose or something that you didn't do that they're,
Or that the writers wrote that you have nothing to do with. I was just doing my job.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that can be negative, that can be difficult to handle. But it's easier when you can sort of remember these sorts of moments and the people that love the show and incredibly positive.
Like you guys,
majority of it.
we love coming to these because he and I were talking about yesterday, and we're saying it's rare that you go to a place where everybody you meet is happy to see you. No one's disappointed to meet you. like when do you guys get that? Where it's like 35, 40, 50 people come to you an hour and no one's disappointed? This is great. That doesn't happen at Starbucks. Half of the people there are contemplating suicide. So it's a great thing. This is what makes us feel good. So we appreciate you guys.
That's awesome. Well, I think unfortunately, that's a great way to end our panel because we're out of time. Is there something that you guys, can we look forward to seeing you guys in the next, you mentioned your movie, can you tell us a little bit more about that? When's it going to come out again?
There's no release date. I think it's spring of 2020.
Any other projects you're working on or anything that you want to share about?
Nothing that I can talk about.
Anything you tease about your character in the future? Anything as far as Jimmy?
Nothing that I can talk about.
God, you're no fun.
Maybe get to keep this next year?
We're working on that. How do you guys feel about this?
Yeah. That's something. Okay.
I didn't ask you.
I see how it is. Jeremy, how about you? Is there anything?
I've been doing a lot of Broadway stuff lately, but that's kind of done. But I've been trying to work on this album that I've been trying to make for a while, so hopefully that'll get done one of these days.
Hey, love you.
What? It's a process. We'll talk about it later. We're talking to the fans, Mehcad.
I love you, man.
Sorry, fans. Sorry.
Jeremy, we loved you in the last 5 years. Any chance we're going to see you in a musical film anytime?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a film that is happening soon, but you'll learn about that later if you want to, but I can't say anything about it. I did a play that is coming on Netflix called American Sun, which is really great. Really beautiful play. I think that's later in the year. It's coming out on Netflix. So, little things here and there.
All right.
Is it a play version, or is it like?
It's a play. We filmed the play, but it's like we filmed it like a movie.
Awesome.
It's a cool hybrid thing. It's super cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, me and Kerry Washington just yelling at each other. It's fun.
If you're gonna yell at somebody,
Yell at me.
yell at Kerry Washington.
She'll yell back.
That's what I always say.
You guys going to be on the floor for a little bit longer today?
I think so. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
some photos and.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a nap right here. It's all good.
Yeah.
Guys, definitely check them out on the showroom floor. Hey, Philly, let's thank